And I think we are live. Hello, hello. Welcome back. My channel is focused on helping agents, whether they're new, aspiring, or seasoned. I just love sharing what's worked for me with others and hope that it can help you in your journey. So today, this video is specifically for new agents who are wondering, how on earth in this competitive seller's market do I write winning offers? You know, there's a barrier when it comes to initially getting licensed, to finding your first clients, to showing that first home. Everything is new. And one of the biggest things that I see standing in the way of new agents and what's causing them to have to spend months and months with buyers is the fact that you don't know how to write a winning offer because you haven't yet done it. And so that's where having mentorship and guides to really help you can make all of the difference. So I'm going to check my audio, make sure that we're coming through okay, and then we will jump right into the content. In the meantime, if you are looking for tips when it comes to being a real estate agent, being a realtor, I would love it if you would subscribe, like this video, share it, and I have a special offer for you. You can schedule a call to pick my brains if you want to speak to me one-on-one, whether it's about working together and the ways that I can support you in your journey. You can click the link below. It's bit.ly/chatwithhal, and we can spend 20 minutes together talking about anything that you want. You can pick my brain, you can get feedback, we can talk about all sorts of things. So I am going to get this checked on to make sure you can even hear me in the first place. If you are watching live, there we are. Perfect. Okay, so let's jump right in. So in talking about winning offers, I think it's a little helpful to give you some information about me. I'm a realtor and broker in the Pacific Northwest. I own a relocation company with my husband, and we help people relocate from all over the country to the Pacific Northwest. In my first calendar year, I closed $10 million in transactions after selling 0 homes the first 9 months that I was licensed. So definitely went from 0 production to a very healthy level of production, and we are on target to at least double our production in year 2. So that's where we're at. Let me know in the comments where you're at. How long have you been a real estate agent? Are you working on your license? Are you just thinking about it? Have you done your first transaction yet? Are you a seasoned vet? Where are you at in your real estate journey? So let's talk about winning offers. There's a couple things you're going to want to think about. Number one is obviously price. I mean, if you have a house that's listed for $300,000 and someone comes in and offers $100,000 over asking, they're offering $400,000, what seller wouldn't want to take that deal? Well, it depends on what the rest of the terms are, right? Or how do you compete when people are offering crazy amounts over asking? Because none of our clients, for the most part, have unlimited budgets. Most people have an amount that they want to spend and not go over it. It's very few and far between to find people that don't have a budget. So you can't control how much over asking or exactly what amount your clients are pre-approved for or the amount that they have to pay in cash. So outside of price, what else is there? What terms can you write in your offer to give your client the best shot of getting their offer accepted? Now, for my clients, we're typically writing anywhere from 1 offer being successful on the first go to maybe 5 on the high end. Most of my clients get their offer accepted in about 2 to 4 offers. So what am I putting in those offers? The first thing that I'm putting in is my effort on my end as their realtor and agent in communicating with the listing agent. That is so important and goes so far when it comes to showing your professionalism, your ability to get the offer to closing. So if you're submitting an offer and your paperwork is sloppy, that's going to reflect poorly on not just you, but also on your client and your offer, and make it a lot harder to get your offer accepted. So that's something that you want to keep in mind. Yes, it's been so long since the last time that I posted. Yes, it has. You'll be seeing a lot more content specifically for agents from me. So communication with the agent is huge. You want to never submit an offer without calling or texting the listing agent. Number one, because you want to get as much intel on the other offers that are on the table in this competitive sellers market of 2022 as possible. And even if we continue to be into a seller's market, or if we go into a buyer's market, you still want your communication, your professionalism to stand out. Because if you work successfully with an agent one time, I probably should have muted my phone. If you work successfully with an agent once, they have other agents in their office. And so you start to build up a good reputation. And that's something that you definitely want, because while your primary objective is to serve your clients, it's not to be best friends with every agent in town, you still need a good reputation. And that's one of the best ways that you can serve your client, with the reputation that you build for yourself, whether you're brand new or seasoned. So communication with the agent is very important. Some other terms to look at are closing date. Typically, sellers want to close sooner rather than later. The longer that you're under contract, the more likely that the buyer can back out, that things can go wrong, that they can lose their job, that the house could burn down. There's so many different things. So sellers typically want to close sooner rather than later. And you can work with your lending partners to help shorten that. My two preferred lenders both can close in 21 days. So when you're comparing that to a big bank that might be looking for a 30, 40, 45-day close, and then I come in with my client and we can close in 21 days, even financed, that's a huge advantage. So closing date is one of the ways that you can increase the likelihood and write winning offers. Now, I do want to also say that you can go now after watching this video and explain this to your clients, and knowing this and telling your clients this is how we can make your offer stand out outside of price can also help you win more clients, so that you have more buyers to work with and more offers to write in the first place. So, closing date, earnest money. In my area, earnest money typically is about 1%. So, and the median sales price around here is about $500,000, 500,000. So 1% is about 5,000. My clients that are shopping under $500,000, I typically encourage them, let's say they're looking at a house that's $350,000 or a condo that's $350,000, and standard earnest money would be $3,500. I typically encourage them to bump up their earnest money, because it's going to go towards their down payment anyway, and go up to $5,000. For my clients that are shopping over $500,000, where let's say they're looking at a house that's $700,000, standard 1% earnest money would be $7,000. I typically encourage them to go up to $10,000. And that's typically the range that I'm looking at. So if you can increase your earnest money beyond what your area is, some areas earnest money is not common at all. In some areas it's common to be 3%. So it really varies, and it could also be a dollar amount. It depends on your area. So you're going to have to find out what's most common in your area, and then see if you can explain to your clients the benefits of offering more earnest money, but also the risks, because you want to make sure you're protecting their interests along the whole way of the process. The next thing is an appraisal gap. If they're financing, there's going to be an appraisal, typically, unless they're putting enough down to get an appraisal waiver. So you want to be able to have them cover the gap of any potential low appraisal. Now, in my market, if you're offering $30,000 over asking and you wanted to do a full appraisal gap, we have a form for it. You don't have to write it into the contract. There's a specific form. So we would just do a full appraisal gap in that case. So that's one way. And again, you need to explain the benefits and the risks to doing it. Obviously, the benefits being that their offer might be accepted, the risk being that they could be on the hook for covering the gap and actually overpaying compared to what the bank thinks that the property is worth, or the appraiser thinks the property is worth. And that's going to eat into their equity right off the bat. So you want to be able to explain those things to your clients. Next, you can shorten inspection or waive inspection. And this is, again, going to be dependent on your market. In my particular market, it is not common to waive inspection altogether. The state forms have the inspection period at 10 days, and I shorten that typically for my clients to 5 days. On our contracts, that doesn't include weekends, so they're typically going to get 7 days. And so it's only a 3-day difference, but when a seller is looking at 2 offers and one person has a 10-day inspection period and the other has a 5-day inspection period, that can make a big difference. If it's common in your market to waive inspection, then you're going to want to talk to your clients about the benefits of doing that, and then also the risks. So we always want to make sure that we're advising our clients and looking out for their best interest. But if they want to buy a house, you need to know that what is going to get their offer accepted if that's what they're looking to do. They hired you to help them buy a house. They want to buy the house. They need to win an offer. The next thing is possibly waiving appraisal. So I mentioned this when it comes to covering any gap in the appraisal if the appraisal was less than what the offered purchase price was. If your client has a higher down payment, or if the values in that community are high enough, you can actually speak to the lender and ask the lender if you can waive appraisal. I've had this done for clients that are putting anywhere from as low as 25 to 30% down and above. 30% and above is probably going to be your best bet. You can get it waived on a lower down payment. The likelihood is just less. And your lender can walk you through how that works. And they might tell you that it's not possible, but ask them if they can get the desktop underwriter to waive the appraisal. That's a big plus in this market. Not the most common thing, again, typically on higher down payment purchases, but if it's available to you, why not take advantage of improving your offer in that way? The next thing is leasebacks. These are very common in my area. They are risky to the buyer. A lot of my clients have offered free leasebacks to the seller in order to entice them to accept their offer, and it works. I've had clients who've been competing against offers where they were offering a 30-day free leaseback, and it happened to work with my client's timeline that they offered a 45-day free leaseback, and that was one of the things that won them the offer. So offering a leaseback, and then if your clients can offer it for free, is great. Again, there are a lot of risks to that, so you want to be very careful in how you advise them on a leaseback, and the amount of time that would work for their schedule and their needs as well. Next, escalations. This is where, and again, in my area, we have a state form that is an escalation form. In your state, you might need to write this into the contract. You want to be very careful and work with your broker on it, but you can offer $500,000 as the purchase price, and then you can basically you're telling the seller, we're willing to pay up to $525,000 and we'll beat any competing offer by $5,000, not to exceed $525,000. So that's a way that you can potentially save your clients some money, and it's worked out really well for some of my clients when they either wouldn't have won the offer without the escalation, or they have saved money because they were initially willing to come in at one price, and we actually backed off of that price, came in at a lower initial price, but used an escalation, and the price that their offer got escalated to was actually less than what they were initially willing to offer. So another great way to protect your client's interest of paying less, but also ensure that you're not getting beat out by higher offers. It doesn't work in every state, also doesn't work with every seller. Some sellers do not like escalations, and so you'll want to talk to the listing agent to find out how the seller of that particular house feels about escalations. Next is down payment. Again, something that's not really quite in your control, but if there's a ton of offers on the table and they all have similar terms, one of the things that sellers will look at is the amount of down payment. So if your clients have the ability to put a little bit more down, instead of putting 3 or 5% down, they could put 10, 20% down plus. That can help get their offer accepted. Should it really matter to the seller? I don't think so, but it does show skin in the game. It shows financial ability to complete the purchase, and so some sellers look at it as a more stable purchaser because they can put more money down. And then the last option that I would say is loan type. These are times where you want to advise your buyers on how different loan types look when coming through an offer. Some sellers, while they're might support veterans, and I mean, I could make an argument against a seller like this, but they might really support veterans, but the idea of a VA appraisal might scare them, or having to pay extra money because typically a VA buyer doesn't pay for their escrow fee can be a hindrance. So I have conversations with my VA buyers about covering their own escrow fee, or about possibly changing loan types if they're not utilizing one of the biggest benefits of a VA loan, which is a 0% down payment, and they're already putting money down. Sometimes it makes sense to switch to a conventional loan because from a lot of sellers, it's seen as a more preferable or favorable type of loan compared to FHA or VA. So those are some of the conversations you want to have. Now, if you notice, a lot of these things that you can add to your offers or ways to tweak the offer don't involve your client spending any more money. Shortening the inspection, waiving the inspection, changing their loan type, potentially offering a leaseback if it was a paid leaseback, those aren't actually causing any funds or money to leave your client's pockets. Some things will, like the appraisal gap, but not everything comes down to money. Closing date, those are things that you can do to improve your client's offer without having them come with any money out of pocket. So those are some ways and terms that I help my clients get winning offers. My clients are going under contract in about 2 to 3 weeks on average. So when you hear these stories about it taking months to get clients under contract, or if you have clients that have a reasonable search criteria, they're reasonable buyers, but they just keep getting beaten out to stronger offers, you need to start inquiring with the listing agent, hey, can you tell me a little bit more about the terms? And you don't have to put on you don't have to say, I'm a new agent, can you help me? You can say, I'm trying to coach my clients better. Can you share some of the terms that were included on this offer, or what about the offer that won made it more attractive than my client's offer? And if they're not willing to do this, right after you submit the offer, right after you lose and it's, the house is pending, follow up after it closes. Typically, listing agents will be more willing to share something after the house closes, so they might not be willing to tell you what the price is while it's under contract, because that can be a detriment to their seller if the house has to come back on the market and now it's, known what it was pending for, when the seller could go out the second time and get a higher priced offer even. So a lot of times, don't freak out if the listing agent isn't willing to share the details up front. Follow up after it closes and keep track of it so that you can know what you need to do or how you need to advise your clients better. So that is my tips to write winning offers. If you have any questions about this, leave a comment below. If you'd like to schedule time to pick my brain, the link is below. It's bit.ly/chatwithhal. And I would be happy to help you on your real estate journey, whether you're just getting started or if you want to work together. There are many different ways that we can do that. So I hope that this was helpful. Drop a like. Let me know if you want to see anything else from me. I will talk to you guys next time. Ciao.